Hello Outcasts and other viewers, and welcome back to yet another video. Today we will be talking about Battlefront 1 and Battlefront 2 from 2015 and 2017. Now this video today will be focused on the game modes of both games and compare them pretty directly and see what was cut away, added or removed from each game. Now, the first game you can't really say things were removed, but at least we can see how the game changed from 1 to 2. And no, we're not gonna see Battlefront 2015 as a test bed. We're gonna look at Battlefront 2015 as a fully fleshed game, compared to Battlefront 2. So within the game modes, the maps were usually designed around the game mode Walker Assault in Battlefront 2015. Now, the maps in Battlefront 2017 seem to be a little bit more varied, but there is a huge difference between these two map layouts. Now, in Walker Assault, the Walker went from A to B, and there were certain checkpoints along the way where the rebels could use some radio stations to call in Y-Wings. That sounds very linear, and it kind of is, but what you don't really think about is that the Imperials didn't really have to follow the Walker. They could walk through the forest or on the hillside, for example on Endor. The map felt a little bit bigger. It felt like it at least had 4 lanes instead of just 3. In Battlefront 2, what I've noticed is that the maps are a little bit longer, like there's a bit more distance, but usually the map design has followed a more 3-lane system. And what I mean by this is that the maps are designed with a focus on the objective and heavy gun battle happening in the middle where there's chaos, and on the side lanes is where you might be able to flank and get some cheeky shots off if people don't notice you. So the conclusion here is that we can say that in Battlefront 2015 the maps were a little less restrictive and there was actually a lot less hidden invisible barriers. Now you might have seen Robusts and my videos on hidden spots, and you know how we do, we're gonna get around those things no matter what. And we can say that Battlefront 2017 had a little bit more restrictive maps, because when we played around with it in the beginning, I remember we encountered so many hidden invisible walls where you wouldn't really think they would be, because it's like, oh, I can jump this high, oh, I hit a wall. That is awesome. Anyways, let's move on to something else. We'll probably rate these games next to each other, a bit like a 1 to 5 rating on how game modes compare, for example. Me and Robust were discussing a few days ago, and what we were talking about was when you were playing a game mode, or like for example a game of Walker Assault in Battlefront 2015, it felt so immersive. And what I mean about this is that it wasn't like immersive Star Wars style, it was like that as well of course, but there was a story to it. You felt like if you beat the Walkers down as the Rebellion, you would destroy the shield generator on Endor and be able to get to the Death Star, for example. Or if you were the Imperials, you're like, we have to annihilate these rebels so they can't kill our shield generator. So we gotta get these walkers from A to B and destroy their escape craft so we can mop them all up and get rid of them once and for all. Now this was also kind of the case on Hoth, where the Imperials were pushing to kill the shield generators for the rebels, while they were trying to escape and sending escape craft and using the disruptor cannon to shoot at the big Star Destroyers. And this also had like a little bit like, you feel like you're fighting a little bit more of a cause, if that makes any sense. And the announcer in Battlefront 2015 was a little bit more into the game and a little bit more immersed, so when a hero coming in is like, oh no, the Emperor has joined the battle. Brace yourself. It was a little bit more like that, instead of just, an enemy ship has landed, but there was only one person on board. And that doesn't really sound that scary. So in Battlefront 2017, there is some sort of story to it, like Theed, you're trying to hold the MTTs from getting into the capital and to the big temple place. I don't remember the building name, please don't kill me. But it doesn't feel like it has the same effect. And what I mean about this is that when you're playing the clones, and let's say you lose against the MTT, it's like, oh no, it shoots the building, destroys 2 pillars, what, okay, well then it stopped shooting. You don't really, it doesn't really matter. Like the MTT has no, it's just like it's like having a lot of B-roll footage in between like 2 cuts of video. Nothing happens. You just have it there to pad out the length of the video. And when it actually, if you defeat it, you win. But if the droids win and get the MTT all the way to the end, it doesn't matter. You just end up in a team deathmatch, capture 2 objectives, and then King of the Hill in the end, in the throne room. So what I don't get here is how it changed so drastically. And the kind of same thing drops off in 2017 with the Hoth map. It doesn't really feel like the AT-ATs actually do anything. You shoot the doors to the base. Yay, we destroyed a door with an AT-AT. a powerful gun. A door was our biggest enemy. Holy crap, we did it. Now, there are two distinct differences about 2015 and 2017 Battlefront, and that is that usually, in, for example, Battlefront 2015, what I really enjoyed what they did is that they did multiple stages, but they did multiple stages with meaning behind them. So, for example, you're in a space battle over the Death Star. You have to take out 2 Star Destroyers before you can even get into the Death Star. When you take out those 2 Star Destroyers, you get into the Death Star, and you can then go and save R2-D2. And if I don't remember completely wrong, this is also after when you've done this, you could do the Trench Runner game, where you're basically having a space battle and one random person is assigned to do the trench run, which is really cool. Like, everything has a meaning. While you play Battlefront 2017 and you go to these capture points, and you go to these bazookas you pick up to shoot things, and then it doesn't really have a real impact. You don't feel like you're actually doing a huge difference in the game, because even if you kill the MTT or the AT-AT coming at you, when it's dead, I mean, you win, but if it doesn't die, you don't lose. I mean, it doesn't seem like it's consistent, if that makes any sense. And also a game mode to bring up is heroes versus villains. Now, I kind of found Battlefront 2015 to have a better hero versus villain mode. I might be a little bit biased here, but I don't really think that it's too much of a bias. I do like that 2017 has more of like the hero combat, which is awesome. It's really cool. And to some degree, they're kind of different enough to not really be compared as much, but I really like the hero versus villain with soldiers as well, because at least if you struggled against a hero, you could have some moments of glory and kill like a few troopers, which would be awesome. You felt great and everything was great. Well, in 2017, if you're being stomped, then you're being stomped. Usually you can't do anything about it because the enemy heroes have better start cards than you. So it's a mixed bag, but I do really like that one of the modes is like heroes versus heroes, or like villains versus heroes, and the other mode is like, it's almost like a little group of heroes went out for a little stroll on the mountain, and then they stumbled into another group of villains having a stroll on the mountain, and they all had like their personal bodyguards with them. So that is really cool. Anyways, hopefully you enjoyed this little comparison here. We're gonna get into the rating of both games on the game modes, and what I'm gonna say is that Battlefront 2 had less DLC, but it has had much more free content. Now, this has added some really cool modes with some story behind them, like Geonosis. It's an amazing game mode. The only problem is that the map feels absolutely dreadful if you're trying to run across from the mountain, because you get sniped, and if you don't want to snipe, you get sniped. So it is a really cool mode. You feel like you're actually trying to fight for the clones or the droids. It has a little bit more story. DICE, please do more like this. It's awesome. But then you have like Battlefront 2015, which added a lot of DLCs with like different maps that had some sort of purpose behind them, like the Death Star, fighting off the Star Destroyers, then getting into the Death Star, and saving R2-D2 or the droid, and then doing the trench run. It's pretty damn cool. And then you had multiple DLCs, like you got Jabba the Hutt stuff, so they made like a lot of small maps, and then you could do some contracts to get the new stuff, which was really cool. But then again, 2017 is improving because they're sticking with that game for now, so maybe this is worth revisiting later down the line, maybe like a year from now again, and see how it looks. Or maybe they announced Battlefront 3, I don't know. But Battlefront 2015 and 2017 are very different games, but I am gonna rate them from a scale from 1 to 5, on 1 being game modes aren't awesome, but they're pretty cool, or to 5 being like, holy goddamn granola, it is amazing. So I would say that Battlefront 2015 will be getting a 4 out of 5. The reason for this is because Battlefront 2015 did have a lot of content problems in the beginning. I'm gonna take that into account, but does have really good game modes with purpose behind them, and the announcer's really into the game as well. He feels like he's there with you, like sitting in like a chair, looking at the battle, being like, oh no, this is bad. Well, Battlefront 2017 gets a 3 out of 5. Now, the reason why it's getting a 3 out of 5 instead of a 4 is because it's lacking that purpose behind the game mode. Like, it does have a purpose, but it's not as, you're not as motivated as a player. And I don't like these bazooka options instead of the radio stations, because the bazookas just make you basically light up like a goddamn Christmas tree for the entire enemy team. Like, shoot this guy, it's gonna shoot your big objective thing. So you don't really feel like you're taking part in a very important battle. I would rather leave the bazooka lay, so I don't have to be a Christmas tree for the entire enemy team to see, and then rather lose lost the MTT section because it doesn't have a huge effect on the battle to come. So, kinda loses that, but it's really epic still. It's Star Wars, I have to give it that, and I really love the game modes, and especially Geonosis. I think that's my favorite, like, story-driven game mode. It has a little bit more meaning. Goddamn announcer, get some more life into you and feel more scared when heroes come, instead of being like, oh, one ship dropped off one person, what's happening here? That's not too scary. Come on, game. Seriously. Anyways, if you like this video, be sure to leave a like down below, subscribe if you haven't already, because this is gonna be a little bit of a weekly episode thing. This week was game modes. Next week, oh, you don't know what it's gonna be, but you better subscribe and turn those notifications on so you will know when it comes out. I'm the Hurricane Turtle. Until next time, have a great time, boys and gals.